Hello, everyone. I'm Samantha-Jayne Love, and this is Judy Reed. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the Garden of All, where you get all of the pleasure with none of the guilt. How are you today, my darling? Looking lovely.
I am very well, thank you. I'm wearing my garnet today in honor of passion, sensuality, all of that good stuff. And you are looking very sensual today, I must say, my
Thank
dear.
you. Thank you. And if any of you are wondering why we're talking about sensual and sexual, it's because that's what we're actually going to be talking about today. So we want to talk
Woohoo.
into a little bit of the difference between sexuality and sensuality. And, a lot of people get the two mixed up because some things flip over on the other things. And we just want to bring a little bit of an awareness of what the two different things mean and how you can cultivate a little bit more of that within your life. So, society is a funny thing out there. We are super over sexualized. And then you've got ridiculous things of, women not being able to put their boobs out to breastfeed because people are like, oh, that's too, it's rude. I'm like, the baby needs to eat.
That is
So,
actually what
yeah,
breasts.
there's a lot
But
of messages that are out there, especially for young people and even older people as well, that a lot of conditioning of, even the dress that I'm wearing, there's if there's some people that would go, oh, that's too sexual because you've got too much cleavage happening and it's not professional and you're doing a video. And, it's interesting how your brain can think of all those things. This is my body. And it has taken me a lot to go, you know what? It is my body. I feel deliciously sensual today. And it's not, and I don't care if you look at my breasts because they're still pretty amazing, if I say so myself. And I can stand firmly in my core belief of myself. Generally, if people are shying away, if they've got cleavage happening and they are like, oh no, I don't want you to look at it, don't put it out there. I'm just saying.
you
Um,
don't have to put it out there. Yep, you can either put it out there or not put it out there. That's
exactly. But if you do
personal
put it out there,
preference.
don't expect outer people to go not to look at it. Like it's like me putting my favorite crystal out where everyone can touch it and go, I don't want you to touch it. Sort of, yeah, it's a bit of a one of those things. Or, if you don't want people to touch it, put a bit of a thing around it. It's like if you were to put the most famous diamond in the world, you wouldn't put a covering around it if it was in a museum because someone would want to touch it, steal it, whatever. So, and I'm not saying that we have to cover up because of certain things. My point is that we need to be firm within our knowing of ourselves. Sort of gone a bit off topic, but that's where we went. That's how we
Yep, that's where
roll.
we went.
And also, um, it's Mercury retrograde. My brain's a bit fuzzy. It's a new moon tomorrow. And I've got the trifecta because I'm about to bleed as well. So my brain's gone a bit crazy. I'm just blaming that because again,
I think you're doing well just being here, quite frankly,
yeah. So let's jump into a bit of it. So what we would discuss as sexuality, it's our dynamic capacity for desire. So, we can desire a lot of things, and it's all influenced through our biology, which is our hormones and our physical responses, our psychology, emotional intimacy, and and mental stimulants, and culture. So social norms, taboos, and education. So that's probably why I was digressing, because this is all part of what we define as sexualized. Right now at the moment, a lot of the girls are, I think I saw someone call them the peach tights.
Oh, I'm not familiar with this phenomenon.
They're
Do
the
tell.
tights that essentially hug your peach and make your peach look good on the outside. So,
Oh, that
and
makes
all the
sense.
girls
Yep.
walk around in the shopping centers and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I remember the day when my peach looked that good. But it's one of those things that people will look at your butt when you've got those tights on. And that's, to some people, that's a normal thing. Some people are like, they shouldn't be walking around like that. Once again, comes back to the, how do you feel within your own body and what feels safe, comfortable, and aligned for you. No other fucker up, just for you. So,
Absolutely. And I think it's a lot of it is about to sort of getting away from the sexuality and more onto the sensuality side of things. Being able to wear certain clothes or dress in a certain way can help you feel that sensuality within yourself, which isn't reliant on having sex with someone else or anything like that. It can be about the sheer pleasure of just enjoying your body and feeling good in your
totally.
body, which I think is really important.
And that's it. So this dress for me, yes, it's a little bit cleavage showing, but it's a beautiful flowing dress down the bottom. So it actually brings in that next part of the sensuality, where it's the taste, the touch, the smell, the sound, the sight. So for me, I love this color. It's really feminine for me, whatever, like everyone has their different colors that they're attracted to. And if I'm outside, or even like when I'm walking down the stairs, I can feel it. Like I feel a little bit, regal as I walk down the stairs. And my cat likes it as well, because there's a little bit of a train and it's like, doo, and I can feel it, sort
Mm.
of the wind of the gust go up. And for me, that is really quite sensual for me, when I can feel the breeze on my legs. And it's a very tactile thing just within this one dress. So I've got the sight. I I've never tasted my dress. Don't know what it tastes like.
It'd probably be a bit chewy.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Mind you, like, and it's for all the cat people out there, or even the dog people, any like your pets really love getting into the different senses. So um I know that my cat, he has these favorite blankets, and he
Hmm.
sort of chew on them as well, and he likes the touch of them, and he'll sit on them, and wherever that type of blanket is. And my little angels know that if they're lying down and they've got one of those blankets, the cat will eventually come and jump on them. So they and they lay there like this, 6-year-old, and almost 7 tomorrow she is. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and yeah, so they know that touch. And yes, I'm talking about little girls as well, but I think that if I can teach them about um, what is good touch and what is, not so good touch, or not appropriate touch, let's use that wording, within things, I want them to be able to feel like whatever they feel sensually is okay in the world, because so much of what we are feeling, or that makes us alive. So we'll come back to sensuality, but sexuality is whatever makes us feel alive. And a lot of that, unfortunately, in society gets snuffed out, literally gets, like people are burning bright. I like those analogies of, you get to burn bright, be a big person, and people don't want you to burn bright or be big. And there is this, so that part of you that feels alive, and, our sexual energy, if that keeps getting dimmed and dimmed and stopped, and that's bad and that's naughty, we then stop. So we're not being the full expression of ourselves that we could be. I just need a breath because there was a lot coming out of my mouth then.
There was. I was just like captivated. But I think what you were touching on there too is like the shadow self in relation to sexuality, which is all of those negative things that we have taken on through messages from media, messages from our peers, messages from just ourselves, like even, being
Yeah.
judgmental on ourselves. And that can really stifle the ability to be able to really enjoy our own sexual energy and really be able to sort of embrace the sensuality as well, because it sets up a block and it stops that free expression and that free feeling, which is really, really sad. And I still, I have theories on it, but I just don't see why society has felt the need to do that. There's certain religious institutions and things like that that
Well, I
certainly.
think that it definitely it comes down to, and I don't want it to be a girls against boys conversation, but from my research, and I think it was, let's just say, it was a power grab. Women are, the way that you come through Earth, onto Earth, is through a womb. Women have wombs, and so, and then within your womb you can create this beautiful sexual energy. And the more that you are alive in your sensualness and your sexuality, you can cultivate more and more within yourself, and that makes you powerful and feminine, which is a it's one thing to be powerful, it's one thing to be feminine, but when you can combine the two, that's when you're freaking dynamite.
Indeed.
And because there has been so much conditioning of, like what, I've even touched on it, what we can wear, what's appropriate to wear. There's, through the years, and different cultures, different, all the things, you must wear it was only not so long ago in schools where they still used to get them to kneel down and
Kneel
measure where
down.
their
Yep.
um, skirt went to, and if your skirt was too short, you would still get the cane, or you'd get a slap across the fingers or whatever, because you were then being a sexualized dirty little girl or whatever. They would, and that was by women insinuating that on women. And i'm not
Mm, mm.
I'm not having a man bag out, because a lot of these norms were implemented by other women. Don't rock the boat. You might get called a witch. You're
Mm.
gonna get hung, you're gonna get drowned, you're gonna, no, not another burning. Oh yeah, I did go there. I did go there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, it can be scary being a woman. It's kind of like,
Well,
it's
yeah,
a
look,
lot.
it is really scary. Like, I don't want to get fully bummed out on the downer, but the amount of people getting off on sexual abuse and violence charges, to the, like, it is absolutely crazy out there. And there's a lot of victim blaming that happens because a woman is standing within her feminine power, within her sexual power.
Mm,
And,
mm,
like if something was to happen to me today, I know that there would be, but you wore that dress and all your cleavage was out, and you could see your, when the wind blew, all of your, you could see your underwear. How is that my fault?
mm. Exactly, exactly.
Like there is this crazy way of the world. And a new thing's just popped into my head. So it's interesting how we're talking about having sexuality and sensuality, but we can overstimulate as well. So we've got the understimulated and the overstimulated. So, which is not a good thing either, because then you're just like, and in this day and age, we're on a screen now, and there's someone's trying to ring me on this thing, and then there's other beeps going in other directions, and that's just me talking right now, without any other little people coming home. I've got a crazy amount of crystals behind me, the cats jumping around, I can hear other noises. you know that's just my stimulation of the 258 bits. But there's this thing where we need to come back to neutral, and by us recognizing our core things of our five senses that make us feel good. So, coming back to touch, taste, smell, sound, and sight, the things that can calm us down. So I know that when people are having anxiety attacks or panic attacks, they use the five rule. What are five things you can see? What are what can you hear? What can you taste? Or how does that taste? Getting people to really come back into a neutral, having a cognitive awareness of sensual senses. And they don't necessarily have to be sensual. Oh, there is so much going on through my face. Do you want to talk for a second? Because I have to go grab something quickly.
Okay, well, you go grab something and I will talk
It just came into my head.
about
Right,
sensuality
going
in the
with today.
meantime.
It's
Oh, that was very quick.
I
I was
told
just
you
getting
after two
started and,
seconds.
you're back.
So one of the things that you can practice with, and I remember there was a 90s movie. It's something that um, I've learnt this in a couple of different areas that I've been doing trainings, um, is flowers. Flowers have, you can even eat some of them. I wouldn't suggest eating all of them. Make sure that you're eating a flower that is
Some
edible
are
as well.
toxic.
I think
Yep.
generally pansies are edible, aren't they? The little purple ones.
I would not know, so would not want to
Anyway,
say, 'cause I don't want to
don't
be
take my
responsible
word
for anyone.
for the thing,
Yep.
but I know
Check
that
your
they
flowers
are.
before you eat them. Yep.
So when you are eating, are you eating mindfully? Are you having a sensation? Are you just gulping down? Say you're having chocolate, right? So there is a way of eating chocolate which is for pleasure, and there is a way of eating chocolate for I'm hormonal and I want this to go away, which is sort of like a numbing. So, and all things can be one end or the other end of the scale. So, next time you're doing something, slow it down. This is where the sensual part comes in. So, if you're touching something, how does it actually, don't just touch it, like, how does it feel when you touch it? Is it rough? Is it, how does it feel on your skin? Is it smooth? Is it supple? All of the different things. Just slow things down. When you're looking at something, don't just go, oh yeah, it's pink. Take a moment, and actually look at it. And is there different tones to it? Is there different shades? As you know, there's could be 1,000 different things. I'm looking at a rose, by the way. I'm not going to eat this because it's a plastic one either.
Oh, no, not good.
No, no, no. um, but hearing things like this morning, I was up early and I was just appreciating the symphony of sounds. And I'm standing, and even sitting here now, I can hear my door upstairs going in the wind, and I'm like, oh yeah, that needs a bit of WD-40, but it's not annoying me. I'm just like, all right, there's enough wind up there to, it's like, well, there's movement around. So I could be looking at it as that's annoying and I should make it disappear, or I'm actually quite okay with that. Or what are the other sounds that I can hear? Because if you slow yourself down in your mind down, there is a different element that comes forth. Smell, smell. Everyone with their olfactory is different. So when we go to eat something, if it doesn't smell nice, we don't want to put it in our mouth. It's a bit of a safety thing as well for us. And so if something smells like chocolate has a very distinct smell. So if anyone's had watched Elsa and Frozen #1, both of the sisters, after not being speaking to each other for a very long time, smell the same thing and go, chocolate. We're talking a lot about chocolate today. But the smell of a rose, like when you get a really divine rose, not all of them smell these days. But if you go into an old school grandpa, papa, nono, whatever, and he's been having the same roses for generations, those roses will smell divine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and it gives you this sense. Some people love lavender, some people hate lavender. Same with jasmine. Some people love jasmine, some people don't like it as well. So it's what makes you alive. And hello, colors. Colors is agreeing with what I'm saying. Have I done?
Absolutely. She's standing to attention here. She's
Yeah.
liking it.
So I've missed one. Which one? Oh, hearing. I've done hearing, sight, sound. I think I've done them all.
I think you have done them all.
Yeah, because I couldn't do taste. But next time you go, like if you're a cake person, instead of just scoffing the cake down, take moments to take little bites and really just close your eyes. When you do close your eyes, it can be a little bit more sensual as well. Um, But then you can go from that sensual to bringing it into a little bit sexual as well, because you could bring it into somebody else is eating the cake with you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. Depending on whether you want to share your cake as well, because you
Yeah, well,
don't
yeah,
need
you
to
might want to
share
get
your
too
cake.
close. Get too.
Can't just go and take somebody's cake.
No, 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 no. That's a bad thing.
That is a bad thing. So there's probably going to be more, like all of these things that we are talking about, we're just giving you the top of the iceberg. And as episodes go on, we're going to branch down to, if anyone's seen those pictures of an iceberg, you get to see this much of the iceberg on top of the ocean, and underneath, there's a whole heap of iceberg that, we
Hmm.
don't get to delve into. So we are just exploring things that we think are interesting at the moment. And we hope that they are interesting for you out there. And if you want to know more about this, if you want to really delve deeper into it, we are quite happy to delve deeper into it. We're just giving you little tastes of things,
Little taste,
little
little
tastes
taste, little
of,
teasers. Yeah.
and yeah. So I think that's after all that came out. I think that I'm done for the moment.
I think you've done very well. I think, all things considered, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. So that is us talking about sexuality and sensuality. And as you know, like when we are do have a topic, sometimes stuff just comes in and it wants to go different ways. And some of the stuff, all when you start listening to us for a long time, you'll see that when we talk about one thing, we did talk about shadow as well. And we're going to talk about shadow a little bit more in depth, but it all does
Mm,
cross
mm.
over. And when you have a full self awareness within yourself, that's where your magic comes from. That's where you can really be defined in knowing your sensuality, knowing your sexuality, what really excites you, and
Mm.
having no shame about it. Like we said, like
Yeah.
in this place, in the garden of all of the pleasure, none of the guilt. But I put shame in with guilt because if we've got guilt, we've got shame generally. I am generalizing. So, yes.
But we can do another whole episode on the difference between shame and guilt and the impact that each one has. So yeah, good point to bring up, I'd say.
Yes, yes. So we definitely will go into that. And yeah, though there's a gazillion of topics that we will go into. So thank you so much again for joining us. And this is Samantha-Jayne Love with all her sexual gloriousness today. And this is Judi Reed with all of her passion from her delicious little
Yeah.
garnets. Mm, 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 mm. And we are the garden of all, where once again you get all of the pleasure, none of the guilt.
See
Bye.
you next time.